Appreciate time to the genuine ones only. Hope your day's coming along well so far. Have a safe day and have a safe remaining week. Protect your energy because not everybody's ever in your time. Woo! People play too much. No, they really do. And enough is enough. Like, for real. Enough is enough. Like, ma'am, sir, make it make sense at the end of the day. I never understood the fact that when someone defends themselves, it's a problem. And then they try to manipulate the person's character for something that they're truly not, just to prove a point to themselves that they only play in their own face. I never understood this. Like, someone can sit here and be a bully and call someone ugly, right? An overly grown adult ugly. I'm confused as to why does it matter how this adult's appearance looks to you at the end of the day. And then you wonder why the generation that's coming up right now is so disrespectful at the end of the day. Because they see what they see. The adults doing it. It's the thought process for me at the end of the day. It doesn't make sense how someone is so threatened by someone's presence at the end of the day. They're just minding their business. And you're quick to sit there and call someone ugly at the end of the day. Because you don't like someone's appearance and they stick up for themselves and they defend themselves at the end of the day. And you're reevaluating your life right now. And I say this respectfully. Because when someone says something back to you, now you want to fight. So now when authorities is called, because someone called authorities to mediate the situation as to what's going on, the officers or whoever is mediating the situation is looking at you both and saying, okay, well, why did you interrupt the innocent person at the end of the day? What was the problem? It's the thought process for me. So that basically means you instigated it and you try to manipulate the situation that you didn't instigate it just so you can feel good within. It's the thought process for me. I never understood this. Bullying's been going on for too many years. Too many years. And then people don't understand why certain generations of a generation curse has not been broken yet when it comes to this bullying. Bullying is real. People take their lives because of bullying. And I say this respectfully because you don't know what a person is going through emotionally, physically. It does not matter at the end of the day. You do not know what a person is going through. For you to come out of your character and go bother an innocent person, you got too much time on your hands. Respectfully. Their parents and what they got going on at the end of the day, it bothers you that much. It bothers you that much. It irritates your spirit that much that you will scoop to a level of ignorancy to disrespect your neighbor, all because of the fact that you don't like the way your neighbor wears their hair. You don't like the way your neighbor talks. You don't like the way your neighbor carries themselves, how they tie their shoe. You think they're ugly. It be the thought process to me. Their eyebrows too hairy. They teeth on top of teeth at the end of the day. Who cares? It's them. It's their life. That's how God created them. That's how they was created. It's the thought process for me. Someone has an ability to elevate, become their best self vision of themselves, right? They have a talent. You're jealous of that. You bully somebody because they have a talent. You bully somebody because they decide to come out their comfort zone and they explore within themselves to find themselves when it comes to their creativity. You bully them. All because you can't get in tune with yourself because you don't have the confidence within yourself to come out of your own shadow, within your own shadow of your comfort zone to respect yourself. You ain't gotta like your neighbor, but disrespecting your neighbor and then having malicious intentions was never part of the plan. And I say that respectfully. It's the thought process for me. And this is the behavior that certain parents, not all, but this is the behavior that certain parents are teaching their children. And this is why the children are going to school, into the schoolhouse, and acting the way they're acting at the end of the day. Because this is the norm. They're picking up the behaviors as to what they're seeing around their surroundings at the end of the day. And nobody's checkmating it. Because it's the norm. It's the norm for a child to go to a schoolhouse and be bullied. It's the norm for a child to go home and want to commit suicide. That's not the norm. It's not. It's not the norm. A child's supposed to feel safe going into a schoolhouse. A child's supposed to feel comfortable being in the comfort of their skin, regardless of how they was created at the end of the day. If they have the ability to see, or if they can't speak, or if they cannot walk. It's the thought process for me. Like, come on, make it make sense. And it's more disgusting and disturbing to see adults that say that they're grown, bully kids. How do you bully a child that can't defend themselves? It's the thought process for me. You say that you're an adult, but you sit here and bully a child. Why? Why? Make it make sense, ma'am, sir. It doesn't make sense. It would never make sense at the end of the day. That's a baby that can't defend themselves. It just goes to show you at the end of the day, when it comes to common sense, don't nobody got common sense nowadays? It's the thought process for me. And this is not everybody, but majority is disgusting. And God did not create us to be this way, to go against our neighbor, or to allow the creation that God created to go against God's will. And I say this respectfully. It's the thought process for me. It should be no reason why a parent gets out of bed and has to get up and provide for their family and send their child off to school, to their schoolhouse at the end of the day, and they're being disrespected amongst teachers, amongst other students. Why? Because this is what their peers around them is being accustomed to. This is what the norm of the behavior of the norm is. You know, children pick up on what they see. And I say that respectfully. So by you sitting there having a side conversation when that's a child, when a child needs to stay in the child's place at the end of the day, and I say that respectfully. You know, it's common grounds when it comes to respect. But when certain conversations is transpiring at the end of the day, you need to reevaluate the conversation and say to that child, this is not what you do. Just because you see what I do, you do not do that. Especially when that child goes to that schoolhouse. You laugh it off like it's funny. You don't checkmate it at the end of the day. Because this is your norm of your behavior. This is what your upbringing was of the norm. It's not the norm to disrespect the child of God, and I say that respectfully. You're laughing at the creation of God. When you laugh at the creation of God, you're only playing in your own face, and I say that respectfully. It's the thought process for me. An innocent person that has to defend themselves against the enemy when they approach them. A baby against an adult? How? Why? Why? It should be no reason why adults should be disrespecting children in the first place. And there should be no reason why children are supposed to be in the comfort zone of a schoolhouse to feel safe amongst their peers and is being bullied, being disrespected because a child in a household is being overlooked. A child in a household is not getting the attention that they need because they're being overlooked by guardians that don't care, or being overlooked by guardians that are not taking the time to sit down and reevaluate their thought process to get in tune with their child. And I say that respectfully because it seems nowadays that some certain folks don't got control over their own kids, and that's really disgusting. And if you don't have control over your own child, you're allowing your child to go harm an innocent person because you don't have control over your household. It's the thought process for me. It's sad. It's really sad that this is how society is today. It's really sad. The violence. The violence on top of violence. The kids go into the schoolhouse fighting each other. What are you fighting for? Because someone has on $1,000 pair of jeans? Someone has $1,500 shoes on? What are you fighting for? The way somebody has a wig in their head and it costs a lot of money, you're jealous of that? Or you're jealous of the fact that somebody has more than you don't? Or it could be the opposite way around at the end of the day. Oh, the one who has it all at the end of the day is the one who's the bully. The one who goes to school with the $1,500 pair of shoes and the $1,000 pair of pants and the $200 pair of shirts or whatever the case may be are the bullies. Laughing at the next person. For what? This is not a fashion show. You're supposed to be going to school to learn. It's the thought process for me. And then a fight breaks out at the end of the day. Why are y'all really fighting? All to reevaluate your thought process and say, wow, I decided to be a bully today and bother an innocent person today. Wow. Because I didn't like the way she looked at me. I think she's ugly. That's why I fought her. I don't like the way she talk. I don't like the way... Like the way what? What happened? Talk. Why you don't like her? Why you don't like him? What happened? Intimidated by the friends that they around? Jealous of who they around? Like, come on, ma'am, sir. Make it make sense. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it really needs to stop. It does. Because God did not create us to go against our neighbors and become our own enemies in this society today. And I say that respectfully. I do. I say this really respectfully. Because at the end of the day, it should be no reason why you get out of your bed every single day, right? When God is patient with you. The good God, right? The good God gets you out of bed because it's a good God and it's a bad God. But when you know, you know. When the good God gets you out of bed, and when the good God is still patient with you, to show you that you can show up for yourself today, right? The good God is not telling you to go outside and hurt your neighbor and become your own enemy to your neighbor. The good God is not telling you that. Regardless of your sexual orientation at the end of the day, the good God is not telling you that. But when the enemy steps in and then you become your own enemy, that energy hit different. And I say that respectfully because you're miserable and you don't know what respect looks like up close in person. And all you want to do is be destructive. And all you think is funny within funny until the joke's on you at the end of the day. And you're reevaluating your thought process and saying to yourself is, you know what? I need to carry myself a little bit more better than what I'm doing today. I do. And it's sad and disturbing to see that it don't matter what culture you are. It don't. Because bullying is real. Bullying is real. It's real. But when is enough going to be enough? Like, ma'am, sir, make it make sense. God did not create us to go against our neighbors. But then when you start to have the malicious intentions, that's the problem. That's when the problem becomes a problem at the end of the day. And I say that respectfully. When you try to bring harm towards an innocent person, and especially a child of God, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a problem. And it's more sad and disturbing to see that adults that say that they're adults, to act their shoe sizes. To act their shoe size at the end of the day. That the way they carry themselves will sit here, call someone ugly, manipulate this person's character for something they're truly not, just to jump on them to fight them when they ready to, because they got controlling issues. And that goes for any type of relationship. It doesn't matter because you'll be so surprised. And it's so disgusting to see that friend that said that was your friend, right? Or that family member that you were so in tune with. You see how quick to jump on you when they ready to? They was waiting for the right opportunity to jump on you. They never liked you from day one. They was just waiting for the right opportunity to jump on you and fight you. And you're not fighting back because you're so confused as to, this is my family. This is my peoples. What did I do? Or even the stranger in the street. What did I possibly do to bother this person? You didn't do anything. You didn't have to do anything. Because you was being yourself and loving yourself, and you get respect from others, that's why they don't like you. And it's sad and disgusting to see that a person can have and they still be intimidated by that person. A person may not have much, but they still be intimidated by that person's energy. Like, make it make sense at the end of the day. Where's the respect at? Like, you don't have that much confidence within yourself to love yourself, to respect yourself, just to stay in your lane? Like, stay in your own lane. Like, it doesn't make any sense how you can sit there and bother an innocent person. The most sad and disturbing thing to see up close in person is to see a group of friends, right? So-called friends be around each other for years, right? And they all could be joking, right? But it's this one person. The one bully in the group, right? The one big bully, the biggest bully out of the group. All of them, everybody cool though, but the one biggest bully in the group, right? It could be one outcast person that everybody loves, right? The bully now. They don't like the way the person laugh, so they jump on them and attack them and beat them up. The person was caught off guard. And the person is saying to themselves is, why would I want to hurt my friend? That's my friend. Why would I want to hurt my friend? This is the difference between people today. Like, it's a thought process for me. When you say you somebody's friend, like, the last thing you thinking about is fighting your friend. Like, you say you love your friend, you respect your friend, but when your friend catch you off guard and you reevaluate your whole life, saying to yourself is, so you never liked me then. You never liked me. From day one, you never liked me. You don't like the way I laugh. So that means if I always laugh like this from the time that you met me, that means you never liked me, right? You'd be surprised. It'd be little dumb stuff like this. And it's sad. It's sad. People be intimidated because you be in a relationship. They jealous about that. They be a bully. They want to hurt you because of that. You in a healthy relationship. They miserable within their own process and they want to fight you because they haters. Like, it's sad. It's so sad. It's sad. It's so sad, yo. It's sad. It's really sad, and it really needs to stop. Like, society today, like these days, and I'm pretty sure you see these days, it's being outnumbered. Judgment's Day's been here. These days is moving pretty too fast. Soon you'll be able to not know what time it is. All you gonna know is when it's nighttime and when it's morning time. That's soon what you gonna know. Watch. Because why? The way time is moving and y'all playing too much with God's timing. And I say that respectfully, the good God. Judgment Day's been here, and God's been paying attention. God saw everything. God sees everything. Y'all think God not paying attention? God's paying attention to everything. Everything. All the dysfunctional stuff that's going on across the world, everything. God sees everything. God sees everything. But that's what y'all least expect. God sees everything. So if you ever have malicious intentions to hurt somebody, an innocent person, line them up, psych them out their thought process, bring harm to them, have malicious intentions, God sees everything. God sees everything. Respectfully, God sees everything. You know, they say, watch the company you keep, right? Sometimes it's not even about the company you keep. A hater gonna be a hater regardless. You could be minding your business and minding your business. A person could look at you a certain kind of way and don't like you and even don't have to know you. They don't have to know you. They could just look at your aura and say, I don't like you. And they don't even know you. And you could be the sweetest person in the whole wide world. The sweetest, respectfulest person in the whole wide world. And they don't like you for no reason. It's the thought process for me. They don't like you because you could be your authentic self. People be intimidated by that. People really be intimidated the fact that you can be your authentic self and you know how to come out your comfort zone and you can sit in your own peace and don't have to go back and forth with words with somebody to prove a point. People be intimidated by that. They do. People really be truly intimidated by that. Because why? They looking for a reaction out of you. They would sit there and just because they're so jealous of you, they would tell you to fall on a flight of stairs and you don't even have to do anything to them for them to be threatened and bothered by your energy. You could be the most sweetest person. You don't have to speak to somebody at the end of the day. You don't have to talk to everybody. No, you don't. Because everybody's not for you. Respectfully. But it's kind of funny at the end of the day how you don't have to speak to somebody. And they were quick to say, I hope you fall on a flight of stairs. I hope you die. I hope all this negative stuff on your life. Like, wow. Dang. You that miserable? It's the thought process for me. You got all this animosity, all this energy for one person? Dang. You need a hobby. You need a whole entire hobby. Like, you need a whole hobby. Like, you need a hobby. Like, you need a hobby. You got too much time on your hands to sit here and have third-party conversations about somebody at the end of the day, sitting there calling them ugly, sitting there calling them retarded, calling them slow, and all this thing, and talking about them at the end of the day, and they ain't even bother you. They ain't even disrespect you in no shape or form at the end of the day. It's the thought process for me. How somebody can sit there and be so intimidated by you because of the fact that you could be your authentic self and they feel like jealous of you for no reason. What are you jealous of the next person for at the end of the day? The same way you could be, they could be their authentic self, you could be your authentic self. But you don't know how to be real with yourself first, to be real with yourself, to know at the end of the day. Dang, that's how they do it? Yeah. You mad fake, that's why. So you don't know how to be real. And then when you get around certain people, you want to put on a mask. Like you this tough guy at the end of the day. It be the thought process for me. Like people, when they get around certain folks at the end of the day, they got so much to say. But then when they by themselves, they mad quiet. They got nothing to say at the end of the day. It be the thought process for me. And then when somebody speaks up, they ain't got nothing to say. Like what happened? You had all this animosity. Your peoples ain't around now. What's up? It be the thought process for me. Yeah, that person you took their kindness or weakness, yeah, they can talk. What happened? They wasn't saying that because you was doing too much. They was like, yo, well, hold on. You mean you? They was kind of confused with them being confused. Like, hold on, pause. I'm trying to rewrite my thought process to figure out and let it re-register. Did that just happen? Because that's what happens in life. People have to reevaluate their thought process before they allow you to psych them out of their freedom or their thought process at the end of the day. You know, some people can have common sense. Not a lot of people have common sense, but some people have common sense to walk away. Not everybody needs to go back and forth with words with anybody at the end of the day. And I say that respectfully because you know what's so funny? It takes too much energy out of a person's time and day that's genuinely trying to elevate and become their best self vision of themselves. And especially when they just overcame the trauma and the pain. And I say that respectfully. You don't understand what it took for an individual to mean what they say and say what they mean, what they just overcame at the end of the day, to allow somebody that's a hate in disguise and a bully to psych them out their freedom, let alone their thought process, their eyesight, or their pockets. And I say that respectfully. You're not worth it. You're not. Don't matter who you are at the end of the day. You're not worth it. It's the thought process for me. How people would sit here and antagonize your character for something that you truly not. To paint a delusion in their own head as a description as to who you not. Just so they could feel good when they go to sleep at night. And they felt like they accomplished something to bully you. Like, come on, yo. You're weak. You're weird. Make it make sense, ma'am, sir. And I hope you find peace somewhere one day within yourself. Because it takes too much time out of your hands to bother an innocent person when you could be doing the healing within to get in tune with yourself, to respect yourself enough at the end of the day. Why is that person such a bother to you? Well, you could be putting that energy into yourself. You could be putting all that negative energy that you're putting into the universe, you could be putting that negative energy into yourself, to love yourself, to respect yourself enough to know at the end of the day, you know what? I don't gotta like my neighbor. I don't gotta like the fact the way my neighbor laugh or talk or how my neighbor carry themselves. As long as my neighbor don't got malicious intentions to bring harm towards me or themselves in the day, I can stay in my lane. I can stay in my lane. Because you know why? My neighbors staying in their lane. It's the thought process for me. It's the thought process for me. Respect goes a long way. You know, it's sad and disturbing to see and disgusting to see that men, and I'm gonna say this respectfully, how men are so intimidated by females. I had to say it. How men are intimidated by females and will sit there and disrespect their neighbor that they say family to, sister to, at the end of the day, but they're quick to disrespect. Like, ma'am, sir, like, make it make sense at the end of the day. You sit here and you're looking for a reaction out of a female, but you wouldn't do that to a man. It be the thought process for me. Like, come on, sir, ma'am, whoever you are. It be the thought process for me. Like, why y'all be so intimidated by females? Like, why? Because it don't make sense. They not bothering you. They not disrespecting you. They ain't a lame. But then as soon as you say something and they respond back to what you just said, now they wrong. Why is that? Why? Why is that? Why is that? I never saw so many men in my life jealous of a female before in my life. I never saw so much men jealous of a female. One female. It's disgusting and it's nasty and it's weird. It's weird. It's beyond weird how a man can sit here and be jealous of a female. A female. I can understand if you being jealous of your brother, but that it don't make it no better at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, either it's a female or a male at the end of the day. When it comes down to it, you taking too much energy out of your day. And I say that respectfully. And it's so sad and disgusting to see how a man that says they're a man will be quick to pump his chest at a female before he do a male. I never understood that. And it be the thought process to me. Like, a female could be going to a store, whatever the case may be, and she'll tell the young man, no thank you, and he'll have a whole attitude or whatever, wanting to fight and carry on, and everybody is looking like, yo, what's your problem? That's a whole female. But this young man would never pump his chest at a man. I never understood that, because when a real man steps up and like, yo, this is a female, what are you doing? Regardless of their sexual orientation at the end of the day. Like, that's the thought process for me at the end of the day. And it's so disgusting to see at the end of the day, just because someone likes the comfort of how they dress, who gives you the right to disrespect them? No, for real, who gives you the right to disrespect them? It's a thought process to me. If they like to wear baggy pants, so what? So, and it's the thought process for me. If they like to carry themselves they certain kind of way at the end of the day, as long as they not carrying themselves tacky or whatever the case may be. So what you would say, tacky, as long as they carrying themselves in an orderly fashion, they're not disrespecting you and don't have malicious intentions, it should be no problem at the end of the day why you can't respect your neighbor. Your neighbor didn't have malicious intentions. You opened your mouth before your neighbor even acknowledged you. And I say that respectfully. Or even if your neighbor said good day to you, you opened your mouth with disrespect first before your neighbor was even able to even defend themselves. Like, whoa, hold on, pause. You said something to me, and I'm not about to defend myself because you're having a misunderstanding self-day with yourself. Like, you got too much energy on your hands. Sounds like a personal problem. You need to get reevaluated, and you need a whole straight body jacket. It be the thought process for me. It shouldn't matter of anybody's sexual orientation. It shouldn't matter about anybody's sexual orientation, and it shouldn't matter about anybody's culture. And I say that respectfully. When it comes to respecting your neighbor, regardless if it's same sex or not at the end of the day, it should be no reason why you can't respect your neighbor and just stay in your lane. Your neighbor elevating, let them elevate. They not bothering you. Like, it be the thought process of me, like, what is bothering you so much about an innocent person that just wants to elevate? They don't have malicious intentions towards you. They could probably be one of your closest best friends if you really opened up to the thought process of it. You'll be so surprised. All those pointless people conversations that you were seeking and looking for at the end of the day, your best friend was probably sitting right there, standing right there waiting for you, and you went against them. The whole entire time, you went against them. Y'all probably had so much in common, not even just so much in common, but y'all could be able to relate to certain things and be able to communicate instead of going against each other. Or y'all probably can be able to elevate and show each other how to become your best self visions of yourself instead of going against your neighbor. Like, come on, yo. Like, make it make sense at the end of the day. God did not create us to go against our neighbors. God did not create us to have violence. We cannot be our worst enemy. We can't. We cannot. Because the enemy allowed us to believe this was the norm. This is not the norm. This is not the norm. It's not. It is not the norm. It is definitely not the norm. It's not the norm. It's not. It's not the norm. God did not create us to go against our neighbors. You know these tools that God installed within us? Self-healing, self-awareness, self-respect, self-control, self-discipline, self-confidence, self-care, self-value, self-love, self-worth, self-patience, and healthy boundaries. Healthy balance. So you can become your best self-vision of yourself, to elevate and to stay in your own lane. And to become your best self vision of yourself. You know, just because what you brought up was, just because your upbringing, how traumatizing it was, yo, you can't keep making excuses for how your upbringing was. Like, it's about to be 2024 soon, in a few months, right? People are having kids in this cold world we live in, right? We should want to be at peace and have respect for one another. And I say this respectfully because it takes a village to raise a child, right? And it takes a community to respect and be at peace with one another. And I say this respectfully. I say this respectfully because this is how God created us to be at peace and to be in and not just be at peace, but be able to respect not just ourselves. Respect ourselves to respect our neighbor with no malicious intentions to hurt ourselves or our neighbor. God created us to love, be at peace, healthy love, not that toxic behavior. Stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. When you become your own worst enemy. Because the enemy told you it was the norm. It's not the norm. It was never the norm. It was never the norm to go against your neighbor. Never. Never. And it's so sad and disturbing to see. Innocent people behind bars because of this. I had to. I had to say it. And this is what I get pissed off at. Because nobody really speaks about this. Nobody really touched base about this type of stuff. They just throw it and it be what it is. Like, okay, let's go on with our day-to-day lives. How are we supposed to fix something and we don't know how to fix it? This is one of the problems. An innocent person could be minding their business, come out their comfort zone to go link up with friends, get into a situation. The situation came to them. Authorities are being called. This innocent person is just there minding their business. And the innocent person gets beat up. And the innocent person is leaving with handcuffs. Why? 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 Because the bullies manipulated the situation. The bullies went against their neighbor. The bullies didn't like their neighbor, so they lied on their neighbor. They that threatened by their neighbor. Make it make sense, ma'am, sir. Like, for real, like, make it make sense. It's not gonna make sense. Remember, Judgment Day's been here. Judgment Day's been here, and God sees everything. God sees everything, and I say that respectfully. God sees everything. And it's so sad to see that people really do this. They do. People do this. People do this. And it's more disgusting to see. It happens at family outings when it could be an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend involved, or a married couple involved, and everybody doesn't like that one particular person, so they'll go against that one person, and they'll end up in jail with a criminal record. Like, come on, yo. I think the most disgusting thing to have seen in my life is to see somebody be in jail for $1 bond, right? And to find out why they was in jail for was so disgusting. And they had $1, but they didn't have the dollar on them. They had lots of dollars. But because they family and they friends went against them, right? And they reevaluate their life to say this, to say to themselves, I don't have friends, I don't have family. Just to reevaluate their whole life. Because they family and they friends went against them. Because they was haters. And you know when that person came home from jail? They came home to nothing. They came home to a bank account being empty. They came home to people still disrespecting them. Because they wanted to control them. Because they didn't like them. And because they feel like nobody's able to defend this person. They feel like this person can't defend themselves. Why not manipulate them? Why not antagonize them? Why not disrespect them? Ain't nobody gonna come to their rescue anyway. A person sat in jail for months at a time for $1 bond because they didn't have the proper resource to bail them out until they came across a good, genuine soul that was sitting right across from them. And when that person got out of jail, and that person only had was $1, they made sure they got their neighbor out of jail with that last dollar that they had in their pocket. And they didn't care how they got home. You see how your neighbor looks out for you when everybody goes against you? You see how we live in a cold world where nobody cares? People overlook you and abuse you when they feel like it, or they pick on who they want to pick on. And just because a person may be good around other people at the end of the day, and I say this respectfully, just because you treat others a certain kind of way, don't mean you won't do it to somebody and manipulate someone's character and bully them at the end of the day. It's so disgusting and disturbing to see how people play this manipulation card and try to psych someone out their thought process. Then they thinking they trying to play in somebody's face and they only play in their own face at the end of the day. It's disgusting. Because at the end of the day, God knows the truth. God knows the truth. And I say that respectfully. God knows the truth. God knows the truth. So for you to sit there, you can have 100 people on your side. But when God reevaluates your life, right? And say to you is, hey, how you doing today? What happened on this such and such day? Why you was bothering my child of God? Why did you do that? And you reevaluating your thought process, saying to yourself is, you gotta redo everything all over again. And you gotta do it right next time around. Because if you don't do it right the next time around, you'll be punished again by God. And every time you do it wrong, God's going to forever punish you. You know, because God punishment, it's a different type of punishment when you dance to a good God. That punishment is different. And I say that respectfully. That punishment is different. Ooh, that's a punishment that you don't want. No. Because now, what God is going to say to you is, God's going to point out everybody that you had against this one person, right? Guilty by association. So everybody's involved. God's going to point out everybody that you had involved to go against this one person, right? And God's going to say to you is, why did you think it was okay for this person, and that person, for you to allow everybody to go against this one person? And you knew what you did. And you wasn't being truthful. And you lied. And you manipulated someone's character. And not only did you manipulate their character, but you disrespected them. And you had malicious intentions. Oh, and you was looking for a reaction. How that work? How that work? Now, come on, how that work? How? God wanna know how that work. Yeah, it's a door process for me. Cause that's what God gonna wanna know. God gonna be like, yo, why you thought that was okay? And you gonna be like, looking dumb in the face, speechless. You gonna be looking mad speechless. Because you know why? God never overlook anybody. Hello, it's the thought process for me. Hello, wake up. Hello. Hi. All right. And especially when you're interrupting the soul of a child of God. And I say that respectfully. Wow. What a disaster you just caused on yourself. Now you're sitting trying to pick up your face that you can't pick up anymore. Because you only played in your own face. It's the thought process for me. You really gotta be careful how you treat people. You do. Because not everybody's for play. Not everybody's for play. Especially a child of God. An innocent person. Leave innocent people alone. Leave innocent people alone. Especially the ones that's not bothering you. They're not bothering you. They not bothering you. They not looking to go back and forth with you. Words. None of that. No. They just trying to show up, every single day that God's allowing them to have life within them. And, they trying to look at their own reflection of themselves and say, you know what, I'm just trying to become my best self vision of myself. And, my neighbor got a problem with me today, and I don't got a problem with my neighbor, but my neighbor doesn't like me. And it's sad and disturbing to see that a person that can truly love themselves and have confidence within themselves and carry themselves well, regardless if they have money or not, at the end of the day, how they can carry themselves and respect their neighbor. And I say that respectfully. Like, it should be no reason why you should be intimidated or jealous of your neighbor. Because they have confidence. And they can love themselves. And they know how to love themselves. And they ain't got to fake gas like nobody. Like, I never saw somebody so intimidated by an innocent person before. Like, it takes up too much room within yourself. And I'm going to say this respectfully to whoever you are. It takes up too much room of yourself to dish this negative energy out. Where you can invest that same energy into yourself. Instead of taking from yourself. You took enough away from yourself already. And I'm pretty sure enough has been taken enough away from you when it comes to your journey. And just because of your upbringing, at the end of the day, like, don't give an excuse why it's okay for you to disrespect your neighbor. Like that is so played out in whack. It really is. Like, it's so played out in whack. It don't make no sense. It don't. Because why? You wouldn't want nobody disrespecting you. You wouldn't want nobody antagonizing your character. You wouldn't want nobody manipulating you. You wouldn't want nobody disrespecting you and allowing you to feel unworthy of yourself where you cannot defend yourself. You wouldn't want nobody doing that to you. And I say that respectfully. You would not want anybody doing that to you. With malicious intentions. Like, come on now, make it make sense. sir, ma'am, whoever you are, it's the thought process for me. I'll have to wrap it up. I truly appreciate your time to the genuine ones only. Hope your day's come along well so far as we end this video and all that. And I truly hope you enjoyed the content. And like, come on, like, enough is enough, y'all. Like, for real, enough is enough. Like, it takes a community to genuinely respect each other and be at peace. It really does. Like, it would never make sense if we going against each other. It won't. It won't. So you sitting there having a private conversation amongst yourselves with other people, third-party conversations about an innocent person at the end of the day that didn't even do nothing to you, that didn't even disrespect you, that didn't even have malicious intentions towards you. All you know what I mean, 9 10, they was trying to respect you. When somebody try to respect you at the end of the day, people take their energy as disrespect. Take their energy as they think they better than somebody. Take their energy as a threat. Like, it's a thought process to me. Like, why are you so intimidated by somebody? Why? They not bothering you. They not. You can't even congratulate your neighbor nowadays without your neighbor feeling some type of way. And that's sad. Wow. Without your neighbor saying you looking for clout, you clout chasing off their name and all that dumb stuff. Like, what? Yo, y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too. Yo. Yo. Y'all play too much. And like, it's not funny. It's not funny because it affects our environment. It affects our communities. It affects us as individuals. It does. Because there should be no reason why somebody got to be on a defense side as to I got to protect myself today because I don't know if my neighbor going to have malicious intentions today towards me. I don't know if I don't know if my neighbor's coming or going today. Like, I got to worry about my neighbor. Well, I got to watch over my shoulder because of my neighbor. Because my neighbor done come out of a relationship, or my neighbor done had a family dispute with their family, or my neighbor done had a situation within a situation of their life today, a crisis within their life today, and my neighbor don't got good intentions when it comes to me, and I was just minding my business. I was going for a walk today, and something happened. Like, come on, like, make it make sense. Like, stop the violence. Stop the violence. For real, like, come on, y'all. It takes a community to respect each other. It takes a community to be at peace with each other. And the only way to do that is not go against each other. If we go against each other, it ain't gonna make sense. It's not. It's not gonna make sense. It would never make sense. And I say that respectfully, it would never make sense. And God did not create us to go against our neighbor. Judgment Day's been here. It's been here. And God is real. God is real. And I say that respectfully. God is real. Going against your neighbor was never part of God's timing. It never was. Never. Leave innocent people alone. For real, for real. Just because you don't understand somebody, how they talk, or how they look, or they got confidence within them, or whatever the case may be, however you feel. And I say this respectfully, like, just stay in your lane. Just stay in your own lane. Like, your neighbor's not bringing harm towards you or have malicious intentions towards you, or anything in that shape or form. Like, they just trying to elevate and become their best self vision of themselves. Just because you are hating disguise and you jealous of what the case may be, like, just stay in your lane. It's the thought process for me. Leave innocent people alone. For real. Leave innocent people alone. You know, God didn't create us to go against our neighbor. God said, love yourself, to respect yourself, to love your neighbor. Nah, not just love yourself to respect your neighbor, but respect yourself to love the fact that you can love your neighbor and be at peace with yourself to love your neighbor. At the end of the day, you know, you ain't got to go home to your neighbor. You don't got to live with your neighbor, but you can respect your neighbor to be at peace with yourself, to be at peace with your neighbor at the end of the day. You know, respect goes a long way. Love, peace, and respect. What happened to the unity at the end of the day? Love, peace, and respect. What happened to the unity at the end of the day? Love, peace, and respect. What happened to the unity at the end of the day? Love, peace, and respect. What happened to the unity at the end of the day? You and I, T.Y. What happened to the unity at the end of the day? You know, neighbor, I can respect you today, neighbor, neighbor. I can respect you today, neighbor, neighbor. I can respect you today, neighbor, neighbor. I can respect you today. It's a two-way street when it comes to respect. It's a two-way street when it comes to respect. I can stay in my lane and respect you. You ain't gotta like me, but I can stay in my lane and respect you. It's the thought process for me. Love, peace, and respect, y'all. You know, I ain't saying fall in love with your neighbor. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying go home with your neighbor and make babies with your neighbor. No, I'm not saying that. Whatever you do in your private time, that's on your private time. That ain't got nothing to do with me. What I'm saying is, you could respect your neighbor. Love, peace, and respect. What happened to that? You gotta love yourself first to understand at the end of the day that being at peace with yourself to respect your neighbor is part of God's plan. And I say that respectfully. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Just because someone gave up on you, don't give up on yourself. Just because someone overlooked you, don't give up on yourself. You are genuinely loved by all the right people. You are genuinely respected by all the right people. And you deserve to be treated with respect 365 days with no malicious intentions to bring harm towards yourself and others around you. Protect your energy, because not everybody's serving your time. They're not. Never allow the enemy or hating disguise or personal malicious intentions to psych you out your thought process, let on your freedom or your eyesight or your pockets, because they got malicious intentions. Excuse me. Protect your energy, because not everybody's serving your time. I truly appreciate your time to the genuine ones only. Love yourself, with God's protection for every direction. Love yourself, with God's protection for every direction. God is good. You know, everybody may not agree to what I'm saying at the end of the day, and that's okay, but to the genuine ones only, I truly appreciate your time, and I hope you have a safe day and a safe remaining week. Protect your energy, because not everybody's serving your time. God is good. God never overlooked you. Just because they overlooked you, God never overlooked you. And I say that respectfully. Stop the violence. For real, for real. It's getting worse and worse as the second keep going. It don't make no sense. It don't. Have a safe day. Have a safe week. To the genuine ones only. It's the thought process for me. Naya, genuine love, respect.